Hey Crafty fam, what's going on? It is Alex Vanover and I am back live with you guys. I have not been live in literally forever and I am so excited to go live with you tonight and hang out with you guys. We are going to make some super cute faux leather tassel earrings that I'm super excited to show you guys. I don't think that I haven't done anything yet on my channel using the new faux leather from 651 Vinyl. So I'm super excited to play with that tonight with you guys. It's super cute and super fun. These little tassel earrings are adorable and I want my own pair. We made some for the launch, but I haven't made any for myself yet. So I decided I would do that tonight and introduce you guys to the new faux leather. So if you're just now joining me, make sure that you let me know you can hear me okay and see me okay. And I'm actually going to put you guys up in my holder up above. So my face is going to go away a little bit. I'm going to, so what am I saying? I'm going to share the live across Facebook a little bit so some more friends can join us, and then we will get started. Hey, Zaria, thanks for joining me. Great, you can hear me. Good deal. Okay, so I'm going to switch my camera. I'm going to put you guys up top, and then we will get going. Hope you guys are doing well. I haven't gone live in, like I said, just forever and a day, so I'm super excited to be live with you guys. It's been a while. There we go. Sorry, my finger's in the way there. And hopefully that will give you a pretty good view. If you guys have watched any of like my Instagram stories or anything, you'll see that I got some new equipment, including this stand that I'm using today, which is called a C stand. And now, even if I shake my table, my phone's not going to shake. So that's super exciting. Just a second. I'm sorry if my microphone makes a little bit of noise here. All right, y'all, we are all set. So like I said, if you're just now joining me, let me know if you can hear me okay and see me okay. I am going to share this around to some of our friends on Facebook, and then we will get going. Here we go. There's our live. And I realized like I used to go live all the time, but it's been a while. And so I thought I would go live with you guys. I was so excited about this product. I just could not wait for it to come out because of course I did have a little bit of a heads up before it came out at 651 Vinyl. And I've been so excited about it that I wanted to make sure and show you guys how to use it because it is seriously awesome. It's really hard to find consistent faux leather. You can order it online and you can order it in a lot of different places, but it's really hard to find consistent. You can order it, like I've tried some from Faux, from Hobby Lobby, and it is just all over the map. Not that it's a bad thing, of course, because if you can get it to work, it's great stuff, but the quality is just really inconsistent and you never know what you're getting. So it can be really, really difficult. Sorry guys, I'm trying to do like 15 things at once, and that's why I'm not making any sense. I want to share this to my wall. You guys, Facebook is hard. Okay, we're abandoning that. I'm just going to post in the group. Okay. We are all shared and all that good stuff, and then I will go back to your comments. Hi, Shelly. Thanks for joining me. Yay, you just got to my channel. That is so exciting. I'm so glad to have you guys. I'm going to scoot my laptop back just a little bit, and we will get started. So I have made my first tassel. I've made tassels before, but I made one tassel just to make sure that I was all good to go. I found this tassel file that I will have to share with you guys. It has so many different sizes of tassel. It's amazing and awesome. But I was planning on walking you guys through how to cut the faux leather as well, just to make sure that you guys are familiar with it. And then I will show you how to put together the tassel and how to turn it into an earring. So I'm actually going to use the first faux leather sheet that I cut right here. Well, actually, you guys can't really see my Cricut, so let's just go ahead and we'll talk through how to cut this stuff, and then I'll show you how to assemble it, because I want to make sure that I give you a really good in-depth look at faux leather. So, and since you can't see my Cricut, I don't want to do that while you guys are up there. So I will do a recorded tutorial for that, and I'll just walk you through it right now. So the first thing that I did, as you can see right here, is a test cut. So I always just insert a star shape from the basic shapes panel, and I stick it up here in the corner. And this is actually a second test cut because the first one did not work. My faux leather got wrinkled, and so there was nothing wrong with the cut setting. I just needed to adjust my tape. So I scooted the star over before I cut my earrings, and it cut beautifully. And the faux leather, like I said, this is all from 651 vinyl. The faux leather cut great on just the faux leather setting using my fine point blade and my Cricut maker. Now, if you have an Explorer machine, you can also cut faux leather. It's really common for people to say, well, don't I need the maker for faux leather, or don't I need the deep cut blade or something fancy like that? But you actually don't. You can totally do it with your fine point blade, no problem. But you always want to do these test cuts because everyone's machine is always different. So always keep that in mind when you are doing a big project. Always do a little test cut up here in the corner. And then when I got to my tassel files, obviously I cut two because of the earrings, and I just scooted everything over to accommodate for my stars. Another great thing to remember about faux leather is that even the tiniest scraps can usually be used for something. So you want to save as many scraps of your faux leather as possible. So I just moved everything up close, and I probably could have gotten closer, but I wanted to make sure that my file didn't cut into my my test cut. So I just moved everything over, and then I cut it all on the faux leather setting. And like I said, fine point blade on my Cricut maker. And you can do the same thing on the Explorer machines. Just make sure that you do a test cut so that you can make sure that you have the right cut setting before you go ahead and, you know, do a big project. If I had done a big project like this and my leather wasn't taped down, I would have ended up with a result like this and wasted most of my sheet of my faux leather. So whenever you are cutting faux leather, make sure that you have either like a fabric grip mat or a strong grip mat. Even the purple one works well, like just fine too, but I prefer the fabric mat because I've just found that that works really well. And whenever you lay your faux leather out, make sure that you tape the edges. So I would do it just like this. I would lay it out, and then I always, bare minimum, tape the top and this side. You can go ahead and tape the bottom and the other side if it's part of your project. If it's not, then I wouldn't worry about it. So I ended up taping, let's see, for this cut, I taped the top when I had it oriented like this. Let me make a little more sense here, y'all. When I did this cut, I went like this. And I had the top, the side, and the bottom taped. I didn't worry about this side because I didn't have anything going over here a whole lot. And that basically just holds the edges down. So it's not really giving you a whole lot of extra stabilization. It's just holding those edges down. And then it also keeps the blade from getting underneath that edge, because obviously the stickiness stops at the edge of this mat right here. So let's say you had your edge hanging over just a little bit. If you didn't have anything taped down, that could cause this to get caught underneath your blade and mess up your cut. So that's why I'm super passionate about always taping down with painter's tape. And even if you go over your design a little bit, you can always, like, the machine will always cut through painter's tape just fine. So you can use painter's tape and it's never going to mess up your cuts, but it's going to keep your stuff more secure. So then this is just a file that I found on Design Bundles. I absolutely love it because it has a bunch of different tassel lengths. So I'll be sure to share that with you guys when we're done with this, in case you want to check this out for yourself. This is the smallest tassel file, and then I just resized it in proportion with the tassel and this top rectangle, because this is actually just going to wrap around the top just like this and make this super fun and stylish. So yeah, so like I said, we're not gonna go over how you cut this tonight, but I just wanted to walk you through the way that I did this in case you have questions, and I promise I will do a recorded tutorial on this really, really soon. But the little more tricky part is just assembling these tassels. They're super easy to do, but this is a little more tricky than the actual cutting part. So let's jump into that. And if you're just now joining me, make sure you let me know that you can hear me okay and see me okay and say hello. Let me know where you are joining me from because I would love to get to know you guys. All right, so I've got stuff everywhere. Let's get a little more organized before we move on. I'll move all my jewelry stuff over here. I like using E6000 as my glue for tassels. I just like how strong it is, and I never have to worry whether or not the glue is going to hold with E6000. I'm sure that's not your only option, but that's just the option that I prefer. So that's what I'm going to be using. And I tried putting my E6000 in this little like needle point bottle because I thought that would make it a little bit easier when trying to get my glue in exactly the place I want it. However, you kind of end up needing more than what will come out of this little needle point. So I don't know that I would recommend that, but I did try that at first with this tassel, and then I ended up giving up. Hey, Tammy, thanks for joining me from Arkansas. And Amanda, great, from Virginia. That's awesome. Thanks, Amanda, for joining us. And hello, see, I don't know your full name, but you're from Claremont, North Carolina. That's awesome. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. I'm so excited to show you guys this. I knew about this faux leather launch probably like since right before we had to shut things down for quarantine. So I have literally been waiting to announce this to you guys for so long. So I'm so excited that it's finally public information. Hey, Zariah's Creations from Philadelphia. That's awesome. Thanks for joining me. All right, so tassels are crazy easy, you guys. They're so easy, especially when you have a good cut file like this where the top loop is already attached. And that's one of the reasons why I think it's really valuable to go ahead and purchase cut files. I know a lot of people like to use free files, and there's nothing wrong with free files. But one of the things I like about paid files is that a lot of the work is already done for you. And I am one of those people where I prefer, or I believe that time is money. So if I can spend a couple dollars and get a bunch of files that are really high quality and already done for me, then I prefer to do that. I just find that way easier. So I will definitely link this from Design Bundles for you guys. Actually, I can post it in the comments real quick, and then I'll go back and put it in the description after this is over. Hello from Texas. Thanks for joining me. Oh my gosh. Free W67 says, hello, you'll be in my old stomping grounds tomorrow in Sharonville. That is awesome. Yeah, that is definitely super close to where I'm from. How awesome. I always love finding out when the world is so small. It's so funny to me that I've met several people who are either from Cincinnati or, you know, live in the Cincinnati area or at least have been there. And it's always awesome to see how many Cincinnatians there are. That's where I'm from, by the way. If you guys are not familiar, I'm from Cincinnati. Here's the file if you guys want to check this out. That is an affiliate link, which just means that if you click on that file and you decide to purchase it, I get a small commission from your purchase at no extra cost to you. So I just want to make sure you guys know that before you click that link, but I would really appreciate your support. Hey, Sonia's Crafts, thanks for joining me. And Tammy wants to know, could you use these tassels on the acrylic keychains? Absolutely, Tammy. You'd have to make them super tiny. So that would be the only thing. This was the smallest file as far as like the proportion of this top section to the bottom tassels. So you'd have to make it super small. But yeah, absolutely. You could use this on acrylic keychains. You could make bigger tassels and put these on your keychains. You could do all kinds of stuff with these. Amanda says you've been wanting to try the new faux leather. Awesome. Yay. You're from Alabama. That's awesome. My husband used to live there. I took lots and lots of trips to Alabama when we were dating. That's awesome. Good deal, guys. Yeah, and I guess another use that I have not done for myself yet, but I really want to do, is I would love to make this into like a pendant necklace. I don't know if you guys have seen those tassel necklaces that are super popular, but I would love to use this as a pendant for like a long fashion tassel necklace, earrings, necklaces, keychains, accents, all kinds of stuff that you can do with these fun little tassels. So they're super exciting. All right, so let's get into the how to actually assemble the tassel, and then I'll show you guys some other ideas that I haven't done yet, but I've been thinking about, because God knows I'm always thinking of other ways to do things. By the way, I always like to work with a silicone trivet underneath where I'm working whenever I'm working with something like super glue, because this tube is metal. When you start to squeeze it, a lot of the glue continues to come out the tip the entire time that you have the cap off. So I like to work in a silicone trivet like this because nothing sticks to silicone. So when I'm done, I can just peel the super glue right off of the trivet, and it's really, really helpful. So that's a pro tip for you guys if you are working with super glue, if you choose to use E6000 like I do. So the way that you start with your tassel is you're going to start with this long end toward you. That's going to be the little loop that is going to be used for jump rings. And so you're going to go ahead and glue that down before you get started. You're welcome, Free W67. I know it's a pain in the neck, but it's a lot more helpful when you have something underneath you where you can just peel stuff off. Because you'll see, I had to get my husband to open this with pliers before I got started because the cap gets glued there, and then it's kind of a pain to work with, honestly. But this stuff is so strong that you always never have to worry about how long it's going to last. So I'm going to screw the cap off, and you'll see I just have to like dab it and then stick the cap back on, because otherwise it will go literally everywhere. It's kind of crazy. So, ooh, once you got to squeeze really, really gently because a lot is going to come out. You just want to dab in the area that you need it. And then you don't want to screw the cap all the way back on, but just a couple of turns to keep the glue from getting everywhere. Then you're going to take this long area and you're just going to double it back. But of course you want to leave some room for your loop. So you don't want to completely fold it over, but you want to leave a little bit of space, kind of like this. And then I'm going to hold it for a second and let it dry before we continue, because I don't want it to fall apart. But this makes it a lot easier when it's already glued down, and then that way it's in the center too. Because if you did it, if you started at this end and worked this way, then you would have this thing to deal with and it would not be in the center. It would look really, really funny. So I think it's best to start this direction anyways. And that's just how I prefer to do it. And then you need a little bit of a larger jump ring if you're going to turn it into an earring. So I have these jump rings, and I honestly, guys, I have no idea what size this is or where these came from. But the little tiny jewelry jump rings that I got off Amazon, I am going to use to hook the tassel to my earring finding, but I definitely need a bigger jump ring to actually attach the tassel to. So I'll show you guys that process here in a couple minutes. I just want to make sure that before I get started, I have a good foundation here and I don't let go of my glue too soon. All right, I think this is good. Then we're just basically going to fold over top where this tassel, or where this center area is. And I'm not going to crunch it up too much. I'm going to leave that center part kind of open, but I want to try to keep things even along this top as much as I can. But the nice thing is it's pretty easy to adjust. So you can always kind of go backwards and figure it out. Hey guys, how many of you are joining me from 651 Vinyl, or versus just from like being subscribed to my YouTube channel? I'm always curious when I share my lives in the group where you guys are joining me from. So let me know in the comments where you found this live. So I'm just rolling it up, like I said, keeping it even along the top here. And there we go. So it's not perfectly even, but it's pretty darn close. So I'm just going to get the flap and kind of keep it even with the other rolls before I glue it. I want to make sure that I'm happy with where it hits. Hey, Sonia's Crafts, you're a subscriber. That's awesome. And guys, thanks so much for being subscribed to my channel. I love making videos for you guys, and I hope that they're super helpful and super beneficial for you because I work super hard to give you guys a lot of value, and I hope that that's what you get from my channel. So thanks for being a subscriber and for coming to hang out. All right, so I've got everything all rolled up, and I'm just going to put a little dab of glue on the inside of my roll before I fold this over. Oh, that's awesome, guys. You're all subscribers. How cool. Amanda and C and Tammy and Kathleen all found me on YouTube. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, and Kathleen knows about 651 Vinyl too. That's awesome. So yeah, guys, in case you guys did not know, I work for 651vinyl.com full time in marketing and social media. So I do all crafts all the time. And yeah, so that's kind of where I got my start. That's why I was curious about where you guys knew me from. But that's awesome. So this is like way too much glue, way more than I wanted, but that's okay because we're going to wrap this little wrap thingy all the way around our earring. So all of this will go away, which is nice. Yeah, man, isn't that cool? So I do crafts full time, not necessarily that I craft all day, because I do marketing and social media, which means that I spend a lot of time in our Facebook group helping people and answering questions. And I do a lot of video at work as well. And then I come home and I do it at home too. So I have all crafts all the time. Hey, Lindsay, thanks for joining me. Lindsay knows me from 651, don't you, Lindsay? That's what we were talking about just before you joined us. We were talking about whether people found this live from being subscribed to my YouTube channel or from being from 651. That's what I thought. Yeah, Lindsay and I talk quite a bit. We are very, very similar. Lots in common. So I'm just hanging on to the end of this, guys, because again, I don't want to let it go before the glue is at least a little bit set. But luckily, even though there's like this huge thing of glue right here, because I'm a sloppy mess with glue, I'm going to wrap one of these around it so you will never ever see it. I don't know about you guys, but honestly, like adhesives are one of like my least favorite things because I am so sloppy with glue. I just have never been able to get it right. I'm terrible with hot glue, like any kind of glue, basically. I just like to mess it up. So I'm always like trying to figure out how I can cover up my, cover my tracks. So while I'm holding this down and just sitting here because that's all I can do right now, I wanted to show you guys what I had thought for these little wraps. So I don't know if you guys know this, but you can use HTV on faux leather as well. Especially this pebbled texture faux leather does amazing with taking HTV. So one thing that you could do is use like some pattern HTV and put that over top of this strip before you wrap it. You could just do like a pattern instead of like a full wrap. You could do like some stripes or something with HTV. Another thing, so I'm obsessed with rhinestones. I don't know, we haven't really done any rhinestone crafts on this channel yet, and I don't know why I haven't, but can you guys imagine if you rhinestoned the entire thing after gluing it onto this earring? Like that would make it so sparkly and fun. But what I couldn't decide is if it was way too gaudy or not. I'm not sure how that would look, but it's something I really, really want to try. This is kind of thick in proportion to the tassel, so it might look better on the tassels that have like longer fringes, but I don't know. That was another idea that I had. Yeah, Kathleen, did that blow your mind that you can use HTV on these? Now, you do probably want to like tone your heat down a little bit, tone your time down a little bit, because what I found is with putting HTV on faux leather, that can flatten the leather really bad if you put it in your press. So, you know, maybe if you're doing an HTV that applies at like 305, you know, maybe you do like 285 or something like that, and then maybe, you know, do like 5 seconds at a time or something so that you're not hitting it quite so hard, just because it's already pretty thin and you don't want to make it any thinner. But how cool would that be? Like that would be so cute. And now that I am saying this to you guys, I wish I had cut a strip of HTV and applied it before we got started, but that's okay. That'll give you some ideas to go with going forward. So yeah, so there's tons of fun stuff that you can do with this stuff. I have done some really pretty like pendant shaped earrings where I just did like a geometric like a, I don't know, like a patch, I guess, of some electric peacock teal by Caesar. And seriously, y'all, it was so pretty. All right, so now that this is fairly set, because I've held it for a few minutes, I am going to put some glue on here. So we probably have enough glue that I can just use the glue from that's left over like that. Maybe I'll go over the seam a little bit. So I crossed over the seam a little bit so we're not starting and ending again on a seam because we want to cover that seam up. And then I'm just going to wrap this all the way around. Try to keep it even again. And you're going to have a lot of overhang. So I am going to cut the leather right here. And that way you've got a little bit of an overlap so that, again, if you mess up with your glue, you're not, you know, in quite such a tight spot. So let's see if I can do a little bit better with my glue. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not optimistic, you guys, because I'm telling you, I've been horrible with glue like my entire crafty career. But we'll see what we can do here. Okay. So I've got a fair amount on here because I really want to make sure that this stays. But since I place it in the center, I'm hoping that it won't squish out the sides. But we'll find out. And I mean, of course, you can always wipe it off before it gets too dry, but I hate to get super glue all over my fingers because that's just not a good time. Okay, so we did pretty well there. So it's a pretty good little wrap, and then we'll do the wrap on the other tassel, and then I will show you guys how to turn these into earrings. So yeah, it looks like that blew a lot of your minds out. That's a super fun thing. I don't know why I haven't done this stuff yet, guys. I feel like I do so many tutorials, but that's one thing is I've never showed you guys that you can put HTV on faux leather. It's so pretty and it's so much fun. You can do so many different things with it. It's a blast. All right. That is looking really good. Sorry guys, I know there's like a lot of downtime with me holding down this flap. I just don't want to lay this down and have it burst open and then we have to start over with the glue. So yeah, thanks Lindsay. I think it's turning out pretty cute myself. But now I kind of want to put rhinestones on it. But rhinestoning is honestly, it is a labor of love for sure. So I don't know that I necessarily want to do that live for you guys because in editing, I will really have to speed that up. Really speed that up because that takes forever. Let me know in the comments if you guys have ever played with rhinestones or if you'd want to see something with rhinestones. Because I love them, but I refuse to do large areas of them. I do super small, like keychains, like mini keychains with rhinestones, and that's as much as I have done because I am definitely not a very patient crafter, so I don't like to like painstakingly do projects that take forever and ever. Okay, so they're on your wish list, Lindsay. Cool, that's awesome. And that's, I feel like a lot of times, at least with me, when I first like saw them, I love everything sparkly. So it's not hard to convince me to do something that has sparkles. But I was more like, well, what do I do with them? Like, I don't really know why you would buy them. Oh, Jocelyn has a bunch. That's awesome, Jocelyn. Now, do you have the adhesive ones or do you have the hot fix ones that you apply with heat? Because I'm curious about that too. I have not crossed into the hot fix rhinestones yet. Okay, so Jocelyn used to hand press them one at a time. Okay, for hot fix. Cool. I was wondering, could I buy hot fix, use them for resin too, and have dual purpose? Ooh, I don't know. I wonder if somebody else knows about that. Kathleen says to check out the rhinestone world. So many options for doing things in rhinestones. Yeah, absolutely, Kathleen. Yeah, it's totally okay for you to talk about places to buy rhinestones. Absolutely. So, okay, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I have gone onto the rhinestone world to check and see what they have going on, but I got so overwhelmed by all the options that I did not stay. I need somebody to teach me about them before I just go doing that because I was like so mind blown that I did not stick around for very long. So I don't know. I'm still, the jury's still out because I need to figure out what I can do with them. But I'm definitely obsessed with the adhesive ones. And that's something like I can wrap my mind around that. I'm cool. Like I can stick them to something. Okay, Kathleen, I'm glad I'm not the only one because I was just like, I don't know what all this means. I don't know what I need. So, oh, dang it, guys. See, I did it again. Too much glue. So I'll give it a second here to set and then I'll just wipe it off, which you're not supposed to do with E6000. So don't be like me. I'm so sloppy, y'all. I'm telling you. I'm the worst. So Jocelyn, did you buy so do you use them with a heat press or do you have a specific press for hot fix rhinestones? That's probably a really silly question. But I really don't know anything about hot fix. And I've also seen people sticking adhesive rhinestones to like garments using like E6000, but that sounded really strange to me. Like I cannot believe that that lasts through the wash, like for the long haul. You know what I mean? Silhouette has a feature in their software you can outline something in a circle. So you can put the circles and put the rhinestones in the holes. Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. You have an old single stone setter. Gotcha. Okay, that makes so much more sense. Cool. Well, thanks, guys. Now I learned something about rhinestones. That is not what we are talking about faux leather today, but still, I don't care because that's interesting. I've been really super obsessed with them, and I've been wanting to figure out what to do and how to teach you guys about them. But I don't know. I was apprehensive about it. Amanda needs to get a heat press. Yes, you do, girlfriend. You totally need one. It will change your life. Like a bedazzler. That's awesome. No, Jocelyn, I know what a bedazzler is. That's awesome. Okay, so now that I have my little wraps all set, I'm going to show you guys how to turn these into earrings. So like I said, I'm using a larger jump ring than the little tiny ones. I ordered this little tiny set from Amazon and I love it because it has this variety of sizes, but I'm going to attach the rhinestone to this, and then I'm going to attach a little jump ring to my big jump ring to put it on my earring hooks. So I hope that makes sense. So yeah, Amanda, I don't know if you're a 651 customer yet, but you should be if you're not. And we sell the StarCraft Mint Heat Press, which is what I have. And I am telling you, it is the best investment I have probably ever made into my crafting. Because I used to hate HTV. Confession time, y'all. I used to hate HTV because before I had a heat press, it was so hard for me to use that I hated it. And once I got a heat press, and I used a heat press at work, of course, because I work for a craft company, but that's a special, that's a special circumstance. But once I got one at home, I started making so many more shirts and just being so many more open to so many more things because I knew I wasn't gonna have to fight with my HTV, you know? Whoops. Okay. Oh, Amanda, that's so cool. She just got her Cricut last month. Well, congratulations, first of all, because this is a really overwhelming world. So I totally don't blame you for not having a heat press yet. I'll tell you guys a little secret. I did not have a heat press for like a year and a half of using my Cricut like very intensely. So I mostly just stayed away from HGV altogether. And when I did, I used my iron, which works. It totally works. And I have no hate for the irons. You'll hear a lot of people like kind of going crazy in the Facebook groups about that. But y'all, everyone starts somewhere. And I totally don't blame you because the StarCraft Mint Heat Press is I love it to death. I really do. But I mean, it retails for $349. So it's not a cheap investment if you're going to buy a good one. But what I'm saying is I would wait until you can afford to do that and then make that leap because it's worth it. Because you can buy a lot of other cheaper presses out there and you'll hear good stuff about other ones. But I'm telling you, it's worth it to wait and invest in something good. At least in my opinion. That's how I've always run things. Okay. So there we go. So now we've got our bigger jump ring onto our tassel, and you guys can see the reason that I use this thicker jump ring is because the flap is a little on the thicker side, and I didn't want to squish my flap into my jump ring. That was a really professional way to explain that, right? I didn't want to have to squash it, so I wanted to use something that had plenty of room. Yeah, Amanda, that's awesome. And honestly, you'll have a better appreciation for your heat press after using an iron. So I really, truly don't think it's a bad thing. Take your time. But when you do, I recommend getting a good one. Just that way you don't have to fight it. You don't have to struggle. And by the way, you guys, if you want to see the link for this, I got this on Amazon. I love this little guy because it's got so many different shades of jump rings. And then I found earring hooks that are basically the same colors. So I don't know if they're made by the same company or not. These are both from Amazon, so I'll have to link them in the description for you. But they're very, very similar. So basically every jump ring has a color of hooks that I can match with it, if that makes sense. So that's what I loved about this set. Oh yeah, you're welcome, Amanda. I'm so excited to have you. I have loved my Cricut. It's been such a journey. I had no idea this was ever going to be a job for me, obviously, because I didn't even know that people could do things like that. So it's been quite a crazy ride that Cricut has taken me on, but I love it so, so very much. So I'm going to show you guys how to use the ring tool here in just a second because the ring tool from 651 Vinyl is one of my absolute favorites in the world. And I think that you guys need to see how to use it. But sometimes 2 pairs of jewelry pliers just gets the job done. Jocelyn says she agrees. So you see so many people with issues with cheap presses. You got lucky and you had your press 6 years. Knock on wood. Well, good for you, Jocelyn. And not to say that there's anything wrong with the bad presses. It's just, with the cheap presses. It's just that It's just that, people run into a lot of issues. And of course, if you guys are 651 customers, you know that we always stand by our products. So if you ever have issues, you can either contact us or we can get you in touch with StarCraft if you do have an issue. And that makes life so much easier because you never have to worry. So, okay, so what I'm doing is I'm attaching a smaller jump ring onto my bigger jump ring, and that will just give my earring hook a little bit more flexibility when, the earrings are moving around and stuff. Because I don't know about you, but I hate when my earrings are super stiff. So I like to give my earrings lots of room for movement. Oh, Lindsay, that's right. I forgot that you had a scan and cut. She said, I have a brother scan and cut, but the tips on the Facebook group have helped you even though it's a different machine. That's right. I always forget about that. And I'm so glad that they're helpful because it's totally not that we have any hate for other machines. It's just that this is all I've ever known. You know what I mean? And so I need to sit down and learn those other machines too, because I know we have a lot of customers like you that use either a silhouette or a scan and cut. I just always use my Cricut. So it's totally not like it's not like a I hate other machines thing. It's just a thing of like I've always used the Cricut and that's what I know. So, all right, so I'm grabbing a couple of these hooks and y'all, they are a little cheap, so I'm picking out the tarnished ones. If you're looking for some more expensive hooks, I'm sure there are some better ones out there, but a lot of the ones on Amazon are like this, where you have to sort through the little tarnished ones, but that's okay. Because you get so many in a pack that honestly, like, I don't know that I'll ever go through this many. I would have to be making a serious, I'd have to be on a serious earring kick to use all of these hooks. So I'm fine with a few tarnished ones. Oh my gosh, so many of you guys are silhouette users. That's so cool. I didn't know that. Kathleen, you have a silhouette, but the tips can be incorporated. Yes, and obviously they're all electronic die cutting machines. So ultimately, I mean, not that they all work the same, but they all have the same purpose and they all go about it in a little bit of a different way. But I mean, they all do the same thing ultimately. You know what I mean? Besides the features and stuff. So I agree that all the tips are pretty much equivalent. So, plus I've been trying to do a little bit more like DIY general things, which is why I called my brand DIY Alex, because I wanted to have that flexibility because, sometimes I do projects that don't involve my machine at all. So yeah. And another cool thing that, if you don't know what settings you need for your machine, because obviously I'm using the faux leather setting on my Cricut, but if you don't know what settings you need, then you can always go to the 651 vinyl faux leather cut settings document. We have suggested cut settings for the Brother, the Cameo, and the Cricut on there, so you guys can check that out. And it's actually machine by machine, so it may not be the exact machine that you have, but you can at least get a start with some suggested cut settings. All right, y'all. I'm sticking my jewelry pliers are in the way. These things are so stinking tiny. Okay. I'm trying to capture, there we go, the jump ring on this hook. Oh my gosh. Okay. Ooh, y'all, it's so little. Sometimes these are so fine. Oh my goodness. I'm going to try to grab these pliers. These are a little finer. Okay. Come on. Do you see this, you guys? This is ridiculous. Oh, good, Lindsay. You print these out. Yeah, ironically, so even though I work there and I make most of those cut settings document, that's part of what I do. But I always end up going back to the link and looking at it. I never print it out because we update it a lot. So that's why I don't print it out. All right. So now I'm going to get this a little closer to show you guys. So now I had the little jump ring and the big jump ring. And then I'm going to add my earring hook to the small jump ring up here at the top. So that's all I'm doing. And then I'm going to show you guys how to use the ring tool now. So this is one of my favorite tools from 651 Vinyl. Seriously, I know it looks ridiculous, but it's pardon me, it's called the ring tool. And what it does is you're able to replace having a second pair of jewelry pliers using the ring tool. So the way that you work it is you stick the little jump ring down in the slot, and then you're able to use that as leverage for when you go to close your jump rings. And it makes it so much easier. And because I have small hands, they come in just one size. They don't have different sizes, but it fits on my thumb. So for me, it's like so functional. I love it. Oh, thank you, Lindsay. You're so excited to try it. Jocelyn wants to know, you love the pink mat. Is it Cricut? Yeah. So Jocelyn, this is a self-healing mat, and this is by Cricut. It's on Amazon. I can link it for you guys if you'd like to see it. And this is the biggest one. So you guys probably can't see the whole thing in the frame, but I want to say it's like 36 by 24 maybe. I got the biggest one possible. And one of the things that I love about it is that it's double-sided. So this dark, I don't know if you guys can see that, but this dark gray grid on the back is super helpful for photos. And then if I want to see the pretty side of things, or if I want a lighter background, I can use this side. So I love this thing. Yay, Amanda. I'm so glad you love them. So yeah, so here's our final product. I'll do the other one too. But I just think these turned out so cute, and I love being able to just do so many flexible things with the faux leather. So this is the pewter color, by the way, that I'm using. I just wanted something general because I know that I will probably wear this the most. But the other colors that I bought are the navy, which is this color, the lavender, and then the this is the black and white leopard. Yes. See, I will move my phone down here in just a second, and I'll show you guys a little bit closer. That's a great question because I know that it's really far away. But if you guys are interested in checking this faux leather out, this is the navy, the lavender, and then the black and white leopard. I always want to call it cheetah. It's leopard, black and white leopard. And then this like kind of medium to dark silver is called pewter. That's the color of these earrings. So yeah. So let me add the rest of my stuff onto this earring, and then I will get it closer. There it is. I lost my little jump ring. Oh, it does match my watch. I know. And like, I am like so obsessed with this. Like, obviously I'm obsessed with cheetah print. So I love it. Yes, like this mat is seriously like one of the best like investments I've ever made. Plus it keeps my table so much cleaner. I honestly thought that getting a white table, since everyone has a white table for their craft room, would like be no big deal. But honestly guys, like I get it so messy. So I love having this mat down because I use it for everything. And I actually have another mat that I have from a Cricut mystery box that I got that I really use as like my mess up mat. It's like light blue on one side and it's the gray grid on the other. And I use it when I get super messy. Like I have like paint on it and epoxy on it and all kinds of stuff. All right, y'all. So let me pinch this together, just make sure that it's a good closure. And now we're all done. So look how cute. Hold on, guys. I'll stand up and get you a little closer so you can see. I know it's really small, but I promise I will do a Zoom tutorial, or not a Zoom tutorial, a zoomed in version of this when I do my tutorial for you so you can see. So yeah, hope that gives you guys a little bit better of a look at that. And so remember, if you guys are just now joining us, that you can do so many things with this like outer wrap band. You could cut HTV the same size and you could put HTV on it to make it a different color or a different pattern. You could cut the wrap out of a different color of the faux leather if you wanted to. Like I considered doing like the black and white leopard as my wrap so that I could combine the two colors. You could rhinestone it. You could do a pattern with your HTV if you didn't want to do a full wrap. So there are so many ways that you can use these little wraps, and they're so much fun. And the file that I used that I dropped in the comments a few minutes ago has a ton of different tassel sizes. So it comes already with the wrap and the tassel size together, but there are different lengths of the fringes. So if you want to, you know, experiment with doing like some longer ones, or if you want to wear some bolder earrings, I usually keep them on the smaller side, but there's tons of options in that file, and that's what I love about it. So yeah. So what other questions do you guys have for me? Oh, thank you, Kathleen. You love it too. Awesome, awesome. CQ used faux leather for the first time, but you messed up, but it cut your test cut perfectly. Interesting. So can you tell me more about what your situation was? Like, did you have your faux leather taped down? Did you use the same mat and the same blade and everything? And honestly, guys, some of this, just like any other craft, is just an experiment. You have to give it a try and, kind of learn the finesse of it. I've been using faux leather for a couple of years, so it was really easy for me to start using it as soon as 651 Vinyl launched it. But I can totally see how that could take some practice and why it might be a little bit discouraging for some of you guys. I could totally see that. All right, my friends, well, that's pretty much all I've got for you tonight. So let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this project and if you want to make it and try it. I will update the description with links to the earring findings, the jump rings, the faux leather where you can buy it at 651, with all the things that we talked about in this live. And if you have any other questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Even if I'm not live, I still come back and answer all my comments. So please be sure to leave a comment if you have any questions. And if you haven't already, please make sure that you're subscribed to 651, or sorry, listen to me, subscribe to 651 Vinyl. Also subscribe to 651 Vinyl, but if you haven't already subscribed to DIY Alex, I would greatly appreciate it. All you have to do is sign into your free Google account in order to subscribe, and it's totally free and all that kind of good stuff. That is super helpful for creators like me, because when we have a certain number of subscribers, or as we grow, it's a lot easier to kind of show us and show outside companies the influence that we have when we have an accurate number of people subscribed to our channel with the proportion of the people who watch, if that makes sense. So if you're ever wondering why the subscribers or why the content creators push that so hard, that's why. It's because it helps us kind of validate what we're doing, because then we know that the people who watch our videos is a closer number to the number of subscribers that we have. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but I always try to explain that to people, because I know from the outside it can be confusing. Like, why do you even care? Thank you so much for joining me, Kathleen. Hey, Krista, thanks for joining me. Yes, you can totally watch the whole thing on the replay. I'm so glad that you guys love it. Good deal. CQ didn't tape it down, but everything was the same. Test cut was fine. Then on my project, it kept recutting it 4 times and shredded it. Oh my gosh. Well, it sounds like, CQ, you need to experiment with your settings a little bit. And remember, you can always pause the project and unload the mat. So if you can see that it's recutting everything a bunch and it's already done the project and cut it, then you can go ahead and unload it. That would be one suggestion I have, but also tape down your edges. That really helps hold the stability down on the mat. All right, guys, well, I'm going to be finished up here, but I hope you have a wonderful evening, and thank you so, so much for joining me.